100th commencement of San Francisco State University. Hello everyone, I'm Simeone Naka. Thank you for joining us in celebrating the accomplishments of the graduating class of 2001. The ceremony is scheduled to begin at 12:30 this afternoon. Bearing witness to this memorable day, an estimated crowd of 20,000 people. As for the graduates, many of their departments have already held smaller ceremonies, but 3,800 students will be attending the main ceremony today, many of whom have already begun to descend upon the field here of Cox Stadium. disorders and education, including concentrations in adult education, early childhood education, educational administration, elementary education, instructional technologies, language and literacy education, mathematics education, secondary education, and special education.
has your number down, man. Not sure. I heard he's coming down here, but... Oh, yes? Okay.
And now, entering the stadium, representing the faculty of San Francisco State University. A long list of graduates from San Francisco State University. It all began back in 1901. The first graduates, 36 women, come a long way in the 100 years since. Expect the ceremony to begin very soon now. Students still entering. We have faculty, and now we have people, the faculty members coming onto the stage right now. Still looking out for questions.
University's 100 commencement exercises. The President's Party, led by Faculty Marshal Pamela Vaughn, Chair of the Academic Senate, with San Francisco State University President Robert A. Corrigan, San Francisco Mayor and San Francisco State University alumnus Willie L. Brown, honorary degree recipient Richard N. Goldman, Presidential Medal recipient Thomas Ehrlich, Alumna of the Year Wesla Whitfield, and other honored guests. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated, and thank you, Ms. Whitfield, for a marvelous start for this, our graduation. Members of the San Francisco State University class of 2001, good afternoon. Bienvenidos. Juan Ing Mabuhay, Konnichiwa. Welcome to all of our guests and families. What an absolutely spectacular occasion. What a typically San Francisco day. A joyous day, a serious day, a day of lifetime significance to you, our graduates, a day of pride and joy for your families and friends who have joined us today. It is a day of celebration. And as we begin, we pause to recollect the spirit in which we have all gathered here this afternoon. And to deliver the invocation, I am honored to present Rabbi Douglas Kahn. Rabbi Kahn. On this graduation day, I am reminded of a description of 4 kinds of students found in the Talmud, an ancient Jewish text: sponges, funnels, strainers, and sieves. A sponge absorbs everything. A funnel lets the learning in at one end and right out the other. A strainer retains the bulk and lets out the fine details, and the sieve lets out the bulk and retains the fine details. All of us have probably displayed a combination of these characteristics. On this truly momentous occasion, I am confident that you, the graduates, have retained the most important lessons in the classroom and in life from your education at San Francisco State. I pray that one of the most enduring of those lessons will be to fully grasp how enriched each of you is by your relationships with individuals from different backgrounds, cultures, and belief systems, and to fully grasp how much better a world each of you has the potential to create through your respect for the diversity that is celebrated each day on this unique campus. The truth is, the world desperately needs an infusion of leaders committed to bridging differences and building cultures of peace. Today's honorees, Richard Goldman, Dr. Thomas Ehrlich, and Wesley Whitfield, exemplify such commitment as does today's commencement speaker. May they be blessed as they continue to champion a just society and a better world. And may you, the graduates of the class of 2001, be blessed and inspired by the best of what you have learned about the human potential for true goodness. In Jewish tradition, a special blessing is recited on one-of-a-kind occasions, of which your graduation is one, to remind us all to truly appreciate how extraordinary and life-affirming such a moment is. for the graduates, their families, friends, professors, the administration, indeed the entire community. The words are intended to embrace all of us here. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehachianu v'kiyimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, our divine Creator, who has given us life, who has sustained us, and who has brought us to this very special moment. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Kahn, for a message that speaks to all assembled here this day. Joining us on the platform today are some special guests who will be introduced by Professor William Hazelwood of our Department of Broadcast and Electronic Communication Arts, who is our announcer for today's commencement exercises.
Please stand as your name is called. Audience, please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. From the Board of Trustees of the California State University, Dr. Salish Mehta. From the San Francisco State University Foundation Board, Dr. Stephen Dobbs. And seated with our guests in the audience, Mr. George Martinez and Mr. Zeppelin Wong. From the campus, Pamela Vaughn, Chair of the Academic Senate. Rhonda Newt, President of the Associated Students. Deborah Masters, Librarian of the University. James Collier, Vice President for University Advancement. Don Scoble, Vice President for Business and Finance. Lucian Guzzelman, Dean of the College of Extended Learning. Paul Barnes, Dean, Faculty Affairs and Professional Development. And Kenneth Montero, University Dean for Human Relations.
It is a real joy to be here with you this afternoon at a commencement which is truly the most important event in any university's life, and certainly the happiest. You, our graduates, have every right to be proud of yourselves. For many of you, this has been more than a four-year path. You've had to balance work, perhaps even family responsibilities with your academic studies, but you have persevered. In fact, most of you have indeed prevailed, and we congratulate you today on this marvelous achievement. This graduation ceremony is especially historic, for it is our 100th commencement. And at that first one, we graduated 36 young ladies from San Francisco, all future teachers. This graduating class, well, I know now where Becca is seated, and I know where education is seated. Good. This graduating class composes 6,500 women and men, and not all of them so young, who have been able to choose from almost 200 degree programs and who have far more varied backgrounds than did our very first graduates 100 years ago. You are, in fact, a virtual world unto yourselves. In all, you are the native sons and daughters of 102 nations. Some of your families have been in the United States far longer than the university has existed. Others of you arrived but a year or so ago. Virtually all of you are California residents, mostly from the Bay Area, but about 25% were born outside of the United States. You, our class of 2001, are a richly diverse community, and your varied life experiences, cultural backgrounds, and your perspectives have made this campus a richer, more exciting place. 12 of your classmates are seated on this platform, and you will meet them later. But among them are a volunteer fundraiser for our Whirlwind Wheelchair Project, who will travel to Thailand to build low-cost wheelchairs. An accomplished undergraduate researcher in plant molecular genetics, who will pursue a PhD in molecular biology. a first-generation non-English speaker non-native speaker of English, who will study for a teaching credential to provide immigrant students the kind of support that she received on campus in the EOP program. A single mother of two severely injured in an accident who commuted 3 hours a day while excelling academically and volunteering extensively. A native San Franciscan who gained global experience in Taiwan and France and who heads to Korea on a Fulbright grant to teach and to study. In their diversity, in their energy, in their creativity, in their determination to make a difference, these students are a microcosm of all of you, the class of 2001, a visible reminder of what makes this university so singular. And as you leave San Francisco State, I hope you will take with you far more than factual learning. We have sought to give you some lifetime learning skills and lifetime values. And while you have been students here, you have gained much of your academic and your personal strength from your vital partners in university life, our outstanding faculty, men and women of principle and intellectual distinction. They have cared deeply about you. They sit now facing you, sharing my pride in your achievements and watching with mixed emotions as you prepare to leave us. I would like all of you graduating seniors to join me now in a round of applause for these faculty members who have given so much of themselves to you.
Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students Penny Saffold will now introduce the student speakers.
Thank you. This year, we have a first. We have selected not one, but two students to represent the class of 2001. 4 years ago, Deborah Lynn Courtney and Cara Ona Marshallek entered San Francisco State as presidential scholars, recipients of a 4-year merit scholarship, and became part of a program that gives the scholars an opportunity to interact with faculty and classmates in small group settings. Cara and Deborah chose the same academic path. Both excelled as liberal studies majors. They graduate today with high academic honors. Deborah cum laude, Cara magna cum laude. Both were initiated this month into the oldest and most prestigious academic honor society in the nation, Phi Beta Kappa. Both were literacy volunteers in local elementary schools through our America Reads and Reading Assistance program. Deborah and Cara are going to become teachers, proof positive that our best and brightest can be motivated to join this noble profession. Deborah will study in Mexico for a bilingual credential, and Cara returns to San Francisco State to earn a special education credential through our Project Include program. Clearly, this university's original mission, teacher preparation, is still powerfully alive today. President Corrigan, I am delighted to present Deborah Lynn Courtney and Cara Ona Marshallek, speaking on behalf of the class of 2001.
A poem by Antonio Machado. Caminante, son tus huellas el camino y nada más. Caminante. No hay camino. Se hace camino al andar. Al andar se hace camino. Y al volver la vista atrás, se ve la senda que nunca se ha de volver a pisar. Caminante, no hay camino, sino estelas en la mar.
Traveler, the road is your footprint and nothing more. Traveler, there is no road. The road is made as you walk. As you walk, the road is made. And on looking back, you see the path on which you never again will step. Traveler, there is no road, only a wake in the sea.
Just as the wakes of two boats collide and send each other in new directions, Kara and I have had a tremendous influence in each other's lives. Like so many of you, we cherish the crossing of our paths and shed tears on their parting.
Every one of us here today has been affected by the wakes of many people at San Francisco State University. Our professors, who have taken the time to give us an individualized education, our advisors, our fellow graduates, and everyone whose footprints have overlapped our own.
We have been able to follow the examples of our mentors by leaving our own footsteps, which have and will continue to have an influence in the lives of many young children. Through our involvement in America Reads, the Reading Assistance Program, and our future careers as educators, we encourage children to make the most of their paths.
Today, as graduates, we all look back on the paths we have forged to this moment, and we are proud of the wakes we have left behind. We also look forward to many new goals, though we cannot see the road that will lead us to them. For you see, travelers, there is no road. As you walk, the road is made. Al andar se hace camino.
Thank you.
Thank you, as Kara and Deborah, for giving such eloquent and personal voice to the class of 2001.
Provost Thomas LaBelle will now present the emeritus faculty.
It is appropriate at commencement we mark the contribution of those faculty who, like you, our graduates, are leaving the university. These individuals have served with distinction and upon their retirement are being granted emeritus status. Mr. President, I am pleased to present them to you today. Will the faculty emeriti please rise as I call their names? William Bond, Professor of History. Narcissus Caillou, Professor of Dance. Greta Glugowski, Professor of Social Work. Patrick Hunt, Professor of Speech and Communication Studies. James Kelly, Dean, College of Science and Engineering and Professor of Geology. Elizabeth Parent, Professor of American Indian Studies. Gilbert Robinson, Professor of English. And Robert Walker, Professor of Social Work.
My friends and colleagues, it is with pride and deep admiration that by virtue of the authority vested in me
by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon each of you the title of Professor Emeritus or Emerita of San Francisco State University. May you take joy in this next stage of your life, and remember that you will always be part of this university.
The President of the San Francisco State University Alumni Association, Rita Harrington, will now present the Alumna of the Year.
As President of our Alumni Association, I extend to you, the newest graduates of San Francisco State University, greetings and congratulations on behalf of the 200,000 women and men who have preceded you. We are proud of you, and we are proud of this university. We hope that as fellow alumni, you will join us in lifelong efforts to contribute to its future. It is a great pleasure now to introduce our 2001 Alumna of the Year who opened today's ceremony so gloriously. Wesley Whitfield, will you please join me? Wesley Whitfield has been termed a torch singer, a cabaret singer, and a pop jazz vocalist. But whatever the musical label, critics agree on one thing, that she is a thrilling talent. Her reviews sparkle with superlatives. A singer who's got it all. One of the finest masters of popular singing. There simply isn't a more captivating artist in the field, and my favorite, the best cabaret singer in the world. In the intimate art of cabaret singing, Wesley Whitfield is one of the greats. She sings the lasting American songs, the classics by the likes of Rodgers and Hart, Cole Porter, and Irving Berlin. And she regularly performs in the most prestigious cabarets in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, London, San Francisco, and beyond. In her sold-out Carnegie Hall debut several years ago, she stopped the show getting a standing ovation. Wesley says that from the age of 2, she wanted to be a singer. Early music lessons led to classical voice lessons in her teens, and then on to San Francisco State, where she earned her bachelor's degree in music in 1972. When she set out to make her professional mark, Wesley found that she was increasingly drawn to jazz and pop standards rather than the opera world for which she had trained. She began to sing in small clubs, gathering critical praise. Now, some 25 years later, she has an enviable musical resume that includes national and international tours, a solo autobiographical show, and almost 20 recordings. Miss Whitfield, 4 years ago, we inducted you into our university's Alumni Hall of Fame. Today, I am delighted to join President Corrigan in recognizing you as our 2001 Alumna of the Year.
This is a great honor to me. I first came to this campus in the fall of 1968 when there was great unrest on campuses throughout the nation and the world, in fact. And this campus was in absolute chaos. It's wonderful to come back here 33 years later and find that both of us are alive and well and thriving and greatly changed because every year with a new student body, this place changes. And from what I can tell, it's only gotten better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Westcliff. You are a marvelous talent, and we're immensely proud to claim you as one of our own. At commencement, we not only recognize all that you, our graduates, have already achieved, but we look ahead to what we believe you can become. And so each year we choose this day to honor outstanding individuals who can serve as stirring models of the highest of values and achievements to which we believe that you can aspire. You have met one such person already, our alumna of the year. It is now my privilege to present another and to bestow on him the highest award that the president of a California State University campus may bestow on his or her own, the President's Medal for Service. Conferred on rare occasion, the medal recognizes an individual whose work has long-lasting and widespread benefits for the university and for our society at large. That definition seems custom-made for the man I'm about to introduce to you, Dr. Thomas Ehrlich. Dr. Ehrlich, would you please join me at the podium? Thomas Ehrlich, the members of this graduating class have felt your impact, and so have tens of thousands of students on hundreds of campuses throughout California and across the nation. As a lifelong educational leader, a university president, you, Thomas Ehrlich, looked at your campus and others, and you saw that it was time for our nation's colleges and universities to rediscover an historic mission. In your words, we needed to reinvigorate the public purposes of higher education. We needed to educate our students for citizenship as well as careers, community activism as well as scholarly study. And with this great goal in mind, you envisioned a way to link the energy and empathy of college students with strength of hands-on learning and the potential and obligation of universities to join with their communities in addressing their problems and needs. You, Thomas Ehrlich, envisioned classes that drew students out into the community to take on service projects linked directly with classroom learning. You saw universities actively embracing their community responsibilities. Thanks to you, Thomas Ehrlich, students across the nation are experiencing what it means to make a difference in their community. They are learning how to be the purposeful citizens that our nation must have to survive and to prosper. For all of this, Thomas Ehrlich, it is with the greatest admiration that I present to you the University's Medal of San Francisco State University. Tom Ehrlich.
Thank you, President Corrigan. It is a pleasure to be your partner and the partner of the faculty and the students of San Francisco State in promoting our community.
The academic world's highest honor is the one we are about to bestow, the honorary doctorate. Joining me for this honorary degree conferral is a member of the California State University Board of Trustees, Dr. Shailesh Mehta. Dr. Mehta.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to be here to share this commencement day with all of you and to participate in the awarding of this honorary degree to a remarkable man. It is now my privilege to invite to the podium an individual whose life speaks to the highest values of the California State University and who won the trustees' immediate approval for conferral of an honorary doctorate. Would Mr. Richard Goldman please join us?
Richard Goldman, the common denominator of your uncommon life is deeply felt obligation to make our lives and our very planet better. You have said, I give of my energy to things I think I can make better. Each of us can make a difference if we are willing to try. And what differences you have made, Richard Goldman. The imprint of your quiet, imaginative generosity stretches from a rainforest in Brazil to a violence-plagued neighborhood here in San Francisco, from a medical school in South Africa to a cancer support center in Washington, D.C., from neighborhoods in Israel to the classrooms of major universities, including San Francisco State. Richard Goldman, your great capacity to give is matched by your sweeping capacity to care about children, elder health, education, prisoner rehabilitation, the arts, violence prevention, religious and ethnic tolerance, the environment, and more, much more. Over the decades, Richard Goldman, you and your beloved wife and partner, Rhoda, reached throughout the San Francisco Bay community and into a far wider world. You have transformed lives, hopes, and futures. Richard Goldman, this university is proud to bear your stamp. Your great gift, the Richard and Rhoda Goldman Chair in Jewish Studies and Social Responsibility, ensures that generations of students and faculty will continue to share your concern for ethics and individual social responsibility. Richard Goldman, you can truly be called a visionary. When you and Rhoda created the Goldman Environmental Prize, you did not know that it would come to be called the Nobel Prize of the Environment. But you did know that only action on a grand scale could achieve your aim, giving voice, hope, and power to those who labor, often alone, to save threatened areas. With what wisdom you chose the motto of the Goldman Prize: ordinary people, extraordinary commitment. Words that challenge us, words we all can embrace and live by. While few can match the scale of your philanthropy, all can seek to match your active, lifelong engagement with the world around you. Richard Goldman, you embody the life well and actively lived in pursuit of goals and values we would like our students to embrace. You have richly earned this accolade, and it is with the greatest admiration that we award you this degree. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and in the name of the California State University and San Francisco State University, I hereby confer upon you, Richard N. Goldman, the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, with all of the rights, honors, and opportunities which it imparts.
On this beautiful San Francisco day, I hope that those of you who have with you your fog block share it with your neighbors. But this is typical of us. Thank you, Dr. Corrigan, for the honor you've bestowed upon me. I'm humbled and overwhelmed at being designated a Doctor of Humane Letters, and will treasure this moment for the rest of my days. 5 days ago, I was sitting amongst all the parents, grandparents, friends, and relatives while witnessing the graduation of a grandson from Yale University. During the course of events over 2 days, I heard Senator Hillary Clinton and President George W. Bush both state that they never dreamed that they would be where they are today at the time of their graduation. Many of you might enjoy a similar experience during your lifetime, and I wish it upon all. It gave me cause to reflect upon my graduation from the University of California 60 years ago this time. Like many of you today, I did not know what I wanted to do. I spent a year studying law at Boat Hall, 4 years in the Army of the United States, and 3 years in the business which did not appeal to me. It was 8 years after receiving my college diploma that I became engaged in a business which I served in for over 50 years. I knew that I finally made the right choice when I could look forward with enthusiasm in going to work each day. For those of you who are not sure what you intend to do with your life, my best advice is to try whatever it takes until you find the comfort level, and then give it the best you have to offer. I also wish a happy marriage or committed relationship with someone who will share your dreams. The goal I shared with my late wife was to try to leave the world a little better than we found it. And as I stand before you today, I feel satisfied that we have reached that goal. Another suggestion is that you give back to your community in helping the less fortunate, that you engage in public service, and that you vote at every election. As we learned last year, every vote counts. It is a privilege we must respect, and it is our duty as citizens to participate. Whatever you decide to do with your life, I wish you both satisfaction and success. In receiving your diploma today, my congratulations on a job well done, and best wishes for a happy and productive future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Goldman. Your life and your work inspire us to look around, as you have done, and to seize our power to make a positive difference. 5 years ago, the man I'm about to introduce stood on his platform to receive the President's Medal. It was not the first time that we had honored him at one of our commencements. He earlier had been named San Francisco State's Alumnus of the Year. We have recognized him. Everybody recognizes him. After almost 40 years in public office, Willie Lewis Brown, Jr. is a household name across the state and well beyond it. His story has been told often: the early years in a small, segregated Texas town, the hopeful arrival in the big city, the San Francisco State mentor who gave him a chance for a college education, the formative friendships he began on this campus, the law degree, and then the start of a public career that has gone from height to record-setting height. In Mayor Willie Brown, style reinforces substance. He was given great gifts: the mind, the passion, the energy, the charisma that make for stirring leadership.
and the use to which he has put those gifts has touched literally millions of lives. We absolutely could do no better for our graduates and guests than to present as our commencement speaker the political, oratorical, and sartorial leader of our city, and a potent force beyond it, the mayor of the city and county of San Francisco, Willie Lewis Brown, Jr.
Mr. President, graduates of San Francisco State University, the year of 2001, honorees, doctoral recipients, President's Medal recipients, and Alumnus of the Year recipients, faculty members who labored so hard in the vineyard to keep all of you in place and space to arrive at this day, to those parents, grandparents, spouses, husbands, wives, partners, children, friends, and supporters, I greet you as a fellow alumni of this great institution. It was the class of 1955, some 46 years ago, that I stood exactly where you are. And I absolutely closed my ears to everything the commencement speaker said. He spoke far too long for the pain I had endured for 4 years at this university. And I therefore will not do that to you. You have earned the right to celebrate. And I want to celebrate with you. When I left this university, I absolutely had no clue that one day I may be the mayor of this great city. But let me share with you one opportunity for joy that I've had in this job among many others. As mayor of this city, I attempt to respond to every question or idea that anybody has to offer. I have a listed telephone number. I open my doors on Saturday morning for people to come visit with the mayor for 10 minutes and discuss anything they wish. And I must tell you, San Francisco is loaded with people who clearly have lots on their minds, and they share it with you in 10 minutes. Some of it makes sense and some of it doesn't. But nevertheless, it's shared. And people call at strange hours. I will share with you only one story about a strange call. About 2:30 in the morning, my telephone rang. I'd just gotten home shortly there. Telephone rang, I picked it up. The lady informed me that she lived on 9th and Howard, and that her lights on that street had been off for 3 weeks. This is for long, long before the great Davis energy debacle. I told Green that I was going to say that. But it was long before our energy problems. And she said that, Mr. Mayor, I've called City Hall now 3 weeks in a row, and nobody's done anything about my lights. And I'm told that if I called you, you would get something done. I said, absolutely, ma'am. Give me your number. She gave me the number. I said, the street again. She gave me the address. And I said, thank you very much. And I hung up. I got back to City Hall, and in my usual bombastic fashion, I absolutely screamed at Ed Lee and the people who had the responsibility to do that job. And I said, the minute you finish it, you let me know. 2 days later, they called me and said, Mr. Mayor, those lights have been repaired. Well, I went straight home that night, set my alarm for 2:30 a.m. It's a vote that I've now lost as a result. I should not have answered my telephone yesterday, just as I shouldn't have answered it on her occasion. But Nancy Pelosi, the congressperson, called yesterday afternoon, and she says, I am scheduled to be the commencement speaker at San Francisco State University, your school. However, I'm stuck here in Washington with Bush Light doing the tax measure, and I will be unable to be there. I need you to pinch hit on my behalf. This is Friday afternoon. I said, Nancy, I can't get anything together to say by tomorrow. She says, for 40 years, you couldn't get anything together to say. Just repeat that performance. And so I am here at the behest of Nancy Pelosi. But just for a few minutes, I want to tell you how very proud I am of what I see before me. You represent the diversity that is now California. You have for a long time in this institution represented that diversity. This institution has an incredible history and reputation. You know and you've read about looking into the air and into the universe and discovering new planets. San Francisco State University talent did that. You know about the incredible established multimedia facility that's here, equal no other place in the nation, as is the case at San Francisco State University. You know the history of the establishment of the very first ethnic studies program anywhere in the nation here at San Francisco State University. You know that the academic research facility, the only one located on the Bay, San Francisco State University. You know that this institution is revered for its biology program, its creative writing program, its journalism program. And you know that it has virtually no peer in the training of people to teach so that this democracy can survive. This institution is a distinguished place for you to have matriculated. Let me tell you also it has another history. It has a history of activism. It was 1895 or thereabouts when the very first protest was at San Francisco State University. The then members of the Board of Supervisors, who had the responsibility to fund this facility, decided to cut the funding off. The students, the faculty, the administration went absolutely crazy. They protested, and lo and behold, their protest was heard so loudly that the state of California became the funding source for this university. You tell me protesting doesn't work? San Francisco State 106 years ago will tell you no. Fast forward to the 1950s. The House of Un-American Activities was here holding its hearings. Students from San Francisco State University marched to City Hall, protested the existence of that committee as well as those hearings, got themselves arrested, and ultimately brought Senator Joe McCarthy to his knees, initiated by students in part from San Francisco State. And of course, the turbulent times of the 1960s. Out of it comes the ethnic studies. Of course, the Vietnam War, the draft, and the horrible curriculum that was part of our history here at this school at that time was challenged. The students led that protest, and the results altered themselves. The students have been a part of the effort to go to the South and help register people to vote and do all those wonderful things. So this institution has a rich heritage. That heritage is even made richer by the commitment to community activities. The community activities, similar to what has happened with the national service organizations and all those programs, let me tell you, it was no accident that this nation adopted opportunities for people with disabilities. That process commenced at San Francisco State 15 years before the adoption by the Congress of the ADA. San Francisco State students in wheelchairs were leading the protest for access by people that way. This institution has an incredible heritage of activism. Well, you are the new class. You are the new graduates. And what is it in your future that we can see? What are the challenges that you must meet to, in fact, enhance upon what has happened before you? Well, let me tell you, the world has changed. The 2000 census now tell us that the state of California is no longer dominated by Anglos. All of us together, the Latinos, the Asians, Native Americans, and the African Americans now make up a majority of California. However, in spite of the fact that that's reflected here in this graduating class, you don't see it in the halls of the legislature. You don't see it in the Congress. You don't see it in the boardrooms of the major corporations. You don't see it at the news channel organizations. You don't see it at the newspapers. You don't see it any place except in the population generally. No place of power do we see that changing dramatic face. And so I say to you, you've got to help make a reality for the change effective in all the respective places that I've just described as not having the same makeup. In that regard, it's the places where power is exercised. Some of you, hopefully, will decide to become an elected official. God knows we need them. We need them desperately. And believe me, it's clear that being an elected official can make a dramatic change. Look just what happened in Washington. Thank God for Vermont. Thank God for Vermont. When that senator moved himself from the compassionate conservative umbrella to the independence and the enlightenment of independence, he shifted the power in the U.S. Senate to where it belongs, and that's in the hands of caring people. That is one vote that shows you how important one person can be. You could very well accept that challenge. You could accept the challenge, and you do have the power. But let me caution you. There will be those who now understand that Anglos are no longer the majority. However, for some reason, if you take a snapshot of what happens on election day every day, Anglos are still the majority because they show up at the polls and they cast their ballots. They're older and Anglo, and in many cases indifferent to your and my needs and our desires, as evidenced by what has occurred in this state. Yes, it was clear it was coming, and they knew it was coming. That's why they put 187. That's why they put 209. That's why they put fees on colleges and universities. Let me tell you one of the marvelous things that you have the power to help change. And I said this to Al Gore. I said, Vice President Gore, you can get every vote of every most recent graduate in this country if you will do only one thing. Grant amnesty for student loans on the day that you are made the president. He said, I don't understand. There are loans. I said, no, they're there because education in this nation has grown so terribly expensive that it is virtually unaffordable. At one time, we had a university system that was free. I am a graduate of that university system. I went from being an undergraduate at SF State at almost no price, to a University of California Law School graduate almost at no price. I think the most I've ever paid was $50. Well, let me tell you, starting with Ronald Reagan years, this state began to step backwards on the business of providing quality, free, affordable education for all of its students. We have grown 3 times the size since Reagan was governor, yet we have not provided an equal level of growth in the university system, in the higher education system, or in any other system of education. I tell you, you have the power to change that. And change that you must at every single solitary level. You know that education is the access tool for you to participate fully in this system. You know that education is a tool that will free you from poverty and from all the other things that create illnesses for ourselves and our souls and our hearts. You know it from every single solitary standpoint. Then you must be dedicated to exercising the power that's reposed in you. You must stand ready, willing, and able, not to be divided. 187 was an effort to separate blacks from the Asians and Latinos. 209 was an effort to separate Asians from blacks and Latinos. And there will be other challenges, because you see, those who've been in power know that their numbers are dwindling, are clearly focused on how to maintain power, and they will do so by dividing you. Your challenge is to build coalitions among the people who are around you. Build coalitions as you did as you moved through the school system. Build coalitions that will produce a mighty movement of power that will result in not even Kathleen Harris in Florida or those 5 blind people on the Supreme Court being able to steal an election. You have the power. You must use that power. Your heritage dictates you use that power. If you are a true San Francisco State graduate, you will accept the challenge and move the agenda as those who preceded you. God bless.
Just think what he might have been able to have done if we'd given him some time to prepare. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, class of 2001, listen up. We're getting there. Just a couple of minutes. We'll arrive at that part of the program for which you've all been waiting, the awarding of degrees. You've heard the challenge from Mayor Brown. You've heard it from Richard Goldman. You've heard it from Tom Ehrlich. You understand what it is that we're expecting of you, and we're confident. We are confident that the class of 2001 is going to live up to that challenge. We now begin the conferral of the degree.
Here to present the candidates for the doctoral degree are Dr. Paul Fontaine, Associate Vice President for Research and Sponsored Programs and Dean of the Graduate Program, and Dr. Jeffrey Reimer, Associate Dean of the Graduate Division at the University of California, Berkeley. Dr. Fontaine?
By the joint action of the Board of Regents of the University of California and the Board of Trustees of the California State University, we are awarding 2 doctoral degrees today with the University of California. Dean Reimer will join me in conferring the degrees.
Will Ms. Billy Brown and Ms. Christine Hagee please rise?
Mr. President, subject to the completion of all the requirements as prescribed by the Board of Regents of the University of California, the trustees of the California State University, and the faculties of the University of California, Berkeley, and San Francisco State University, Billy Brown and Christine Hagee are presented for receipt of the degree of Doctorate of Philosophy of Education.
Upon the recommendation of the administrative and teaching faculty of San Francisco State University and of the University of California, Berkeley, and by the authority vested in me as president of the university by the state of California under the provisions of the Donahue Higher Education Act, I confer upon you, Billy Brown, and you, Christine Hagee, the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Education with all of the rights, honors, and opportunities attached thereto.
Will Ms. Brown please come forward? Will Ms. Hagee please come forward? It is now time to introduce the other graduating students on the platform, whom President Corrigan mentioned earlier, our 2001 undergraduate Hood recipients. It is an academic custom to invest those earning degrees with hoods that designate the degree bestowed. Time does not allow us to present each of the graduates here today with a hood. Therefore, the master's degree program and each college of the university have chosen an outstanding student to represent all the graduates from that college and, on their behalf, to receive the hood. The respective deans will now confer the hood on these honor students. Dean Paul Fontaine will now present the hood recipient for the master's degree program.
Miss Emma V. Sanchez Stewart. Ms. Sanchez Stewart, who is receiving a Master of Public Health degree with a concentration in community health, has been selected to receive the investiture of the hood on behalf of all those receiving their master's degree.
Dean Joel Casciola of the College of Behavioral and Social Sciences will present the hood recipient from that college.
Ms. Flora Chloe Effingham, a major in child and adolescent development, has been selected to receive the investiture in the College of Behavioral and Social Sciences. Please come forward. Give you the cover, Flora.
Dean Ray Marguerite of the College of Business will now present the business hood recipient.
Ms. Lydia Ting Ting Lim, an Information Systems and Business Analysis major, has been selected to receive the investiture for the College of Business.
Dean Keith Morrison of the College of Creative Arts will now present the hood to the Creative Arts Honors graduate.
Ms. Tomoto Nakatsundo, an art major, has been selected to receive the investiture in the College of Creative Arts.
Dean Jake Perea will now present the hood recipient for the College of Education.
Ms. Lamitra Monique Baez, a communicative disorders major with a concentration in speech language pathology, has been selected to receive the hood for the College of Education.
Dean Tomas Almaguer of the College of Ethnic Studies will now present the hood for the Ethnic Studies Honor Graduate.
It is my great pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Genevieve Liu, an Asian American Studies major who has been selected to receive the investiture in the College of Ethnic Studies.
Dean Donald Zingali of the College of Health and Human Services will now present the hood to the honor graduate from that college.
Ms. Melissa Margaret Wheeler, a kinesiology major, has been selected to receive the investiture in the College of Health and Human Services.
Dean Nancy McDermott of the College of Humanities will now present the hood for the Humanities Honor Graduate.
Joseph Richard Mullen, a humanities major, has been selected to receive the investiture in the College of Humanities.
Dean James Kelly will now present the hood for the honor graduate from the College of Science and Engineering. Ms.
Jill Allison Stokes, a cell and molecular biology major, has been selected to receive the investiture in the College of Science and Engineering.
Gerald Cohn, Dean Pro Tem of Undergraduate Studies, will present the honor graduate for Liberal Studies and Special Majors. Ms. Nancy Maria Cervantes, a Liberal Studies major, has been selected to receive the investiture on behalf of Liberal Studies and Special Major graduates. present the candidates for the master's degree is Provost Thomas Lavelle. Will all the candidates for the degree Master of Arts please rise? The candidates for the degree Master of Fine Arts, the candidates for the degree Master of Business Administration. The candidates for the degree Master of Music, the candidates for the degree Master of Physical Therapy, the candidates for the degree Master of Public Administration, the candidates for the degree Master of Science, and the candidates for the degree Master of Social Work.
Mr. President, subject to the completion of all requirements as prescribed by the trustees of the California State University and the faculty of San Francisco State University, these candidates are presented for receipt of the appropriate master's degree.
On the recommendation of the administrative and teaching faculty
of San Francisco State University, and by the authority vested in me as president of the university by the state of California, I confer upon each of you who has completed the requirements the master's degree for which you are listed in the commencement program, together with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities attached thereto.
Will the master's degrees recipients please be seated? In a few moments, the faculty marshals will guide you to the stages row by row. Will the deans please go to their respective stages? Will the faculty marshals please guide the master's degree recipients to the stages starting from the front? We ask that graduates wait to be directed by the marshals. After leaving the stages, graduates will proceed to the rear of the stadium and will be guided out. Coming forward to the north stage will be graduates from the colleges of Humanities, Health and Human Services, Liberal Studies, Special Majors, and Behavioral and Social Science. And to the south stage, graduates from the colleges of Creative Arts, Science and Engineering, Education, Ethnic Studies, and Business.
so many of you have been waiting.
Will the candidates for the degrees Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Music, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Vocational Education please rise?
Mr. President, subject to the completion of all requirements as prescribed by the trustees of the California State University and the faculty of San Francisco State University, these candidates are presented for receipt of the appropriate baccalaureate degree.
Upon the recommendations of the administrative and teaching faculty of San Francisco State University, and by the authority vested in me as president of the university by the state of California, I confer upon each of you who have completed the requirements the baccalaureate degree for which you are listed in the commencement program, together with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities attached thereto.
It is customary that those receiving the baccalaureate degree move the tassels of their caps from the right side to the left side. I ask that you who have just received your degrees move your tassels.
Members of the audience, I am delighted to present to you the class of 2001. They are our future leaders, and they are the most splendid resource that this state has. Please join me in a round of applause for them. To the graduates, be assured that you leave now with our respect and our love and our belief in you, and our hope that you will fulfill all of your dreams. God bless you all.
The faculty marshals will now guide the bachelor degree recipients to the stages, row by row, starting from the front. On the north stage, graduates from the Colleges of Humanities, Health and Human Services, Liberal Studies special majors, and Behavioral and Social Sciences. On the south stage, graduates from the Colleges of Creative Arts, Science and Engineering, Education, Ethnic Studies, and Business.